What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Lucid. So this is a part 2 video. So I did a pre-market, went over some of the current larger data points that was coming out. Now, after the market closed, I want to go over what the hell happened. Before I get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So Lucid went down a astonishing 4.97%. Crazy stuff. It did have a low of $3.53, high basically right out the gate of $3.88. So I want to go over again why Lucid went down, because it stood out like a sore thumb. It is the only EV of kind of importance that was red. Everything else, even VinFast, the garbage company that is pretty much just a fake shell company, obviously take that with a grain of salt, did go up 5.41%. So yeah, definitely I think a lot of people were very questioning on exactly what did happen, because there was no actual news associated to Lucid. And if anything, because of some of the negative data that's been coming out, the likelihood of a 50 basis point cut for the September 18th meeting is going up. So right now there is a 41% likelihood of that occurring. So the whole EV sector is kind of rallying based off of that, because EV, the whole sector, is very sensitive to interest rates. So with cuts, that is very beneficial to not only just borrowing, but their consumer. So the consumer buying power would increase and really help just stimulate the whole sector, right? So it's a good win-win for everyone. But Lucid again went down massively. So I have several different YouTube channels, cover a lot of different niche stocks, many of them heavily shorted, and there actually is your culprit. So I typically do a most heavily shorted stocks list under Financial Journey, typically every Wednesday. But I looked at Rivian, looked up Tesla, looked up Polestar, looked up SoFi, looked up VinFast, all of them, and also NIO, which had pretty kick-ass earnings. Shorts were returning on all of those cases, except Lucid. So like I've said from the very beginning, unless someone really wants to fuck with the PIF, pardon my French, there's no other excuse why shorts would be increasing today 2.16 million shares. So even though I look at this data right here, which is all the institutions and large transactions on the secondary market, even though there's quite a lot of buying that is happening, if for instance, shorts are increasing net 2.16 million shares, it doesn't matter if someone's buying $100,000 in stock coming from a large entity. It doesn't really matter, because shorts are, and plus a lot of shorts use algorithmic trading. So yeah, it's just a losing game. And so I think shorts have been really calling Lucid out over this last 3 days in particular for whatever reason. So maybe they're just seeing Lucid as overvalued, or maybe they are trying to break it on a technical stance, because Lucid, as I mentioned in my pre-market video, you really needed to watch for this 375 to hold. Kind of flirted a little bit with it first thing, but of course, shorts know that if you break Lucid's technicals, it kind of goes down, right? So with that 375 failing to hold, now it is trading between this S1 and the pivot. Very wide gaps, because Lucid did run up fairly fast. So $3.13 is going to be the next strong support. 375 is going to be the next strong resistance. So yeah, it's a very interesting scenario. A lot of manipulation, pretty much every aspect of Lucid. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on that. One thing that I did find of interest, as you can kind of see right here, through IBKR, does indicate around 100,000 shares is available. There was a brief period during kind of noon when there was 0 shares available to be shorted. So obviously, how does it go from 0 to 100,000? Well, plain as day, kind of misleading. So even though I do bring this up, so it did show a lot of institutions were buying. This is why whenever people jump up and down because of BlackRock, oh, BlackRock increased, I'm always very hesitant about large entities, because some entities do buy just merely for the purposes of lending out shares. So there is a correlation between some of these transactions. So some entities buying just for the purposes to lend out shares. So this is how it goes from 0 to 100,000, or even 0 to 400,000. It does show first thing a entity clearly did buy. So it's a very misleading thing. Again, stems back down to a lot of manipulation. And I think in Lucid's case, the more manipulation that does occur, the more the sentiment does get hit. Because if you, for instance, looking on Lucid's stock price, like if you know that it always struggles with kind of key pivot and breakout points, you know it's going to go down, it kind of de-incentivizes you to hold long term. So it's a very big psychological game that shorts are playing. And so, like I said, shorts are trying to break it down below this point, and ideally probably their target is to break it below that 50-day moving average, because we already do know in Lucid's case that 50-day moving average is a very big make it or break it point. So again, that's their probably end goal, in my opinion, but we'll just have to wait and see. We do have that big event coming up. So we have payroll coming out tomorrow, big event associated to Lucid. So that is coming out on the 10th. You have that, I believe it is Morgan Stanley event that is on the 12th. Listed on Lucid's website. They've never really outright said that they're participating in that. So that's kind of not the best. And plus on Lucid's website, they don't actually have a link to it. They're just saying that they're participating. So I'll have to dig around and try and find where that is actually going to be, and kind of some context on the timing and whatever else. But yep, today was a very interesting day. Shorts are a very fun old time. And yeah, what's your thoughts, for instance, on Lucid shorts? I know people immediately jump to it's Elon, but from the get-go, like I brought this up in the past on how shorts, when Lucid was just getting started in 2021, you can kind of see that right here, short interest was 6.8%. So now Lucid has kind of developed AMP1, phase 2. They started AMP2 as well, really kicking production off fairly well, in fact. But you basically have all-time high short interest numbers. Just that doesn't make sense if you ask me. So I think someone is really trying to target the PIF, and that is they're trying to hurt them through Lucid, because they know Lucid needs money. And so if you bring the stock price down, like it doesn't matter, right? Because Lucid will still need money, but you know the PIF behind them is going to give them money time and time again. And they've proven that, right? They go and just pretty much give almost about $3 billion every single year. So if someone is trying to hurt the PIF, I think it is, again, through Lucid. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciate that. And one final thing, make sure you guys definitely take advantage of this promo. Simply sign up for a new account, throw $100 at it. They give you 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. Link to this is in the description below and also the comments. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.